Imagine pulling up from the depths of the Mediterranean Sea a rusted chunk of bronze, ancient, mysterious, and utterly unlike anything anyone expected. This wasn't just a piece of old junk. No, what lay hidden inside this corroded mass would shatter everything we thought we knew about the past. Can you believe it? Over 2,000 years old, yet inside were gears so precisely made, so incredibly intricate, that they rival the craftsmanship of today's finest Swiss watches. How on earth could people from that era have built something so advanced? Was this an incredible accident of history, or proof of something much bigger? What else could still be buried beneath the waves, waiting to rewrite our story? Could it be that we're not the very first advanced civilization to ever walk this planet? These questions are not just wild speculation anymore. Join me as we dive deep into the mind-boggling mystery of the Antikythera Mechanism. Picture this: a bronze lump, sitting silently on a table, its surface rough and eaten away by millennia under salt water. It looks like something diseased, crumbling at the edges like it could fall apart with the slightest touch. But inside, something glimmers: tiny, sharp metal teeth, perfectly crafted gears no larger than coins, but fitting together flawlessly, as if parts of a modern machine. This discovery happened when Dr. Valerio Stais bent over this strange artifact, peering through his magnifying glass. What he saw sent chills down his spine. Gears like these, this precise, shouldn't exist for centuries more. How could this be? And then the bronze mass broke open like a rotten fruit, revealing a puzzle with 82 pieces scattered across the table. Among these was a gear 13 centimeters wide with exactly 233 teeth, each carved with such fine detail it could pass for modern engineering. This device was older than the first mechanical clock by more than a millennium. And as if the craftsmanship wasn't astonishing enough, the bronze was inscribed with ancient Greek letters, some reading Ray of the Sun, others mentioning Aphrodite and Egyptian months long forgotten. It was as if someone, desperate to save knowledge they feared would be lost forever, hurriedly carved these words onto the metal. Can you imagine the scene? Scientists gathered, breathless, counting gear after gear. 30, then more. Each one meshed perfectly with the next in a way that was so clean, so precise, that it demanded tools and skills no one believed existed in the ancient world. What's more, the bronze itself was recycled, probably from older machines, hinting that the technology behind this wasn't a one-time miracle. It had a history, a lineage far older than anyone dared imagine, and the smallest teeth were just 1 millimeter long, cut by hand, mind you, at a time when most people couldn't even write their names. How is that possible? How could such knowledge and skill have existed and then vanished? This discovery wasn't just impressive, it was downright unsettling. X-rays revealed even more hidden layers inside the lump, gears untouched by air, connected in a design so complex it seemed like it was built to calculate the future. The ancient Greeks were supposed to have simple pulleys and levers, not this. Panic rippled through the academic community. Was this a forgery? Did the mechanism come from a later shipwreck? No matter the skepticism, the fragments kept telling the same story, loud and clear. History as we knew it was wrong. This device took over a century to fully understand, but from the very start, one truth was undeniable. This wasn't humanity's first climb up the mountain of knowledge. We had been here before and lost it all. But where did this extraordinary machine come from? It didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was found deep inside a shipwreck that would forever change archaeology. Imagine the Mediterranean, a restless sea tossing a wooden merchant ship like a toy. Fierce winds shredded its sails, and the storm didn't wait. The ship sank fast, taking at least 4 crew members with it, lost to history forever. But the ship was carrying more than wine and olive oil. Buried beneath the usual cargo were rare treasures, bronze statues, marble figures from Asia Minor, delicate Egyptian glassware, and hidden beneath it all, wrapped carefully in cloth, was this bronze device no one would understand for many years. When sponge divers from the Greek island of Symi came upon the wreck, they found more than sponges. Elias Lycopantis dove 40 meters deep and saw something that jolted him to the surface in panic. Dozens of bodies lying in rows like fallen soldiers. The captain, Demetrius Kondos, initially thought Elias was hallucinating, but when he dove down himself, he found giant bronze and marble statues strewn across the seabed, faces and limbs frozen in time. Among these relics was a bronze arm, heavy, ancient, and eerily alive with history. The Greek government quickly sent archaeologists to investigate, launching the world's first underwater archaeological dig. What they found was baffling. The cargo was a collection of rare advanced artworks from all over the Mediterranean, not just random trade goods. Coins dated the wreck, but the items told a deeper story. Someone had been collecting the highest expressions of science and art, carefully chosen treasures from Egypt, Greece, and Rome. The bronze device was part of that collection, but what made it stand out was that inside it were gears, small, precise, and seemingly impossible for the time. Years of painstaking study uncovered the truth. This ship wasn't carrying just riches, it was carrying knowledge. Knowledge that crossed continents and cultures, connecting scholars and thinkers long before modern borders existed. What the divers thought was treasure turned out to be a warning, a reminder that civilizations rise and fall, and sometimes what they create disappears with them. And what they discovered wasn't just a machine. It was a keyhole into a past where humans had achieved a mastery of science and technology so profound that it still defies belief. How could a device this complex exist so long ago? What secrets had been buried beneath centuries of forgotten history? When scientists carefully peeled away layers of corrosion, they uncovered 69 gears. Not crude wheels smashed together, but finely cut teeth, just 1 millimeter long, crafted with the precision of a modern watchmaker. The largest gear was 13 centimeters across, carved with exactly 233 teeth. Somehow, the ancient builders understood gear ratios that still challenge engineers today. But the device wasn't just about mechanics. It was an astronomical computer. Its circular dial mapped the zodiac, dividing the sky into 12 sections with 30 neat divisions each, tracking the sun's movement with astonishing accuracy. The outer ring matched the Egyptian calendar and even corrected for calendar drift over centuries, a feat modern astronomers still grapple with. And it didn't stop there. The device could predict the moon's phases with a small half-white, half-black ball attached to a lunar pointer. It modeled the moon's strange orbit, speeding up and slowing down based on where it was in the sky. Calculations that wouldn't appear again until much later. On the back were 5 dials predicting eclipses using the ancient Saros cycle, forecasting solar eclipses years in advance with just a simple crank. It even tracked the timing of the Olympic Games and other festivals, linking human events to the stars themselves. Tiny Greek inscriptions covered the surface, like a metal manual with thousands of characters, explaining how to read the dials and use the device. This wasn't a gadget built overnight. It required expert teams of astronomers, metalworkers, and craftsmen dedicating years of their lives, and it might not have been the only one. Ancient texts mention similar devices, possibly created by Archimedes himself. As researchers unraveled its secrets, they were left stunned. How did such knowledge exist in an age thought too primitive for such technology? Watchmakers today are amazed. The gear teeth, each just 1 millimeter, are cut with accuracy that would make the finest Swiss engineers proud. The bronze was carefully mixed to reduce friction, crafted to last, and the level of precision wouldn't be seen again until the Industrial Revolution. And yet, here it was, an ancient masterpiece. But why was such a complex and expensive device made? It would have taken thousands of hours from highly skilled experts, costing as much as a modern research lab. These machines weren't toys or common tools. They were symbols of power, made for rulers, elite scholars, and royal astronomers who could afford the best minds. They weren't about public education. They were private treasures, holding control over time, festivals, and the stars. If this technology existed, what else did those elite circles know that we don't? What inventions vanished without a trace? The Antikythera mechanism survived only because it sank and was hidden underwater for many years. The rest, destroyed, recycled, or lost. But there's more. Experts believe this device links directly to Archimedes, the greatest genius of the ancient world. Though he died centuries before the shipwreck, the mathematical precision in the gears matches his astronomical models. Was this device built by his students or followers, preserving his knowledge? Its origins tie to Corinth, Epirus, and Rhodes, places of incredible learning and trade between Greece and Rome. The ship carrying it was headed to Rome, loaded with treasures for a wealthy patron who wanted to own not just art, but the power of the cosmos itself. It was meant to command the past, present, and future, until the sea swallowed it whole. And this brings us to a terrifying thought. What if this device isn't a unique miracle, but a fragment of a lost golden age? A time when science, engineering, and astronomy reached heights we can barely imagine today? What else might have been lost in fires, wars, and the collapse of civilizations? What forgotten inventions, what buried technologies still lie hidden? What if history is not a simple climb forward, but a spiral of rise and fall, with knowledge lost and rediscovered again and again? The Antikythera mechanism isn't just an ancient artifact. It's a window into a past where humans had mastered the skies with mathematics and metal, only to lose it all again and again. What if we are not the pioneers we think we are, but retracers of forgotten paths? The future of history looks very different when you know this. And it all began with a rusted piece of bronze pulled up from the deep. But wait, there's more to this incredible story. The Antikythera mechanism isn't just about Greek brilliance alone. When researchers examined the inscriptions on its bronze plates, something astonishing emerged. This device was a melting pot of ancient knowledge from across the Mediterranean. It wasn't just a Greek invention, it was a masterpiece forged from the minds of many civilizations. Babylonian lunar cycles intertwined with Egyptian calendars, and the craftsmanship itself echoed metalworking techniques perfected in Syrian workshops. Can you imagine? This wasn't isolated genius. It was a product of an ancient network, a web of scholars, traders, and artisans exchanging ideas across borders and seas long before modern globalization. The Mediterranean wasn't just a stretch of blue water. It was a bustling superhighway for ideas, goods, and culture. Ships like the one that sank off Antikythera carried far more than marble statues and amphorae. They carried scrolls, tools, astronomical tables, and even mechanical designs. The same doomed vessel held treasures from Asia Minor, Syria, Egypt, and Sicily, each piece carefully selected and gathered. This wasn't random cargo. Someone was collecting the most precious intellectual wealth from an ancient world connected by shared curiosity and ambition. Think about what that means. Experts from different cultures came together, sharing knowledge of math, astronomy, metallurgy, and mechanics to create something truly revolutionary. The calendar system alone in the mechanism reaches beyond Greek festivals to include Egyptian months, Babylonian eclipse cycles, and Syrian star charts. Who was the mastermind behind such a synthesis? Who gathered these ideas and forged them into one incredible machine capable of predicting eclipses, modeling planetary motions, and marking the passage of time with mind-boggling accuracy? The craftsmanship tells its own story. This device couldn't have been the work of a single person or workshop. The bronze had to be processed with techniques known in one region, while other parts were shaped and assembled by experts elsewhere. The tiny gear teeth required mathematical understanding developed in Babylon, combined with Egyptian metallurgy skills. This was no simple collaboration. It was a coordinated exchange of intellectual wealth on a grand scale. But who coordinated it? What drove this alliance of thinkers and craftsmen? And there's an even darker twist. The inscriptions carved on the mechanism don't just reveal technical info. They hint at an invisible, powerful network spanning city-states and empires. Corinthian months, festival dates from various Greek cities, and technical terms from ancient Mesopotamia all appear, suggesting that this device was the product of a vast, interconnected world. This wasn't just science. It was political power, cultural influence, and perhaps even secret knowledge guarded by an elite few. Imagine a group so powerful that they controlled not only goods and art, but the very knowledge of time and the cosmos. This was a technology of control. The device came in a wooden box sealed with bronze plates, operated by a single knob that turned the entire mechanism. It was covered with tiny Greek letters, more than just decoration. They were instructions for those already initiated into the secrets of the stars. This wasn't education for the masses. It was a tool for rulers, royal astronomers, and scholars who commanded immense influence. Some researchers believe these machines were passed down like sacred relics, guarded by wealthy families who understood that controlling time meant controlling society. Imagine holding the power to predict eclipses years ahead, to time festivals and agricultural cycles perfectly, to map the heavens so precisely that you could sway politics and religion based on celestial events. The device was more than a machine. It was a crown jewel of ancient knowledge and influence. But if such advanced devices existed, why don't we find more of them? Why are they absent from the historical record? That's the chilling mystery. The only reason the Antikythera mechanism survived was because it sank and was hidden beneath the sea for many years. The rest? Likely melted down, lost in wars, or deliberately destroyed. History wasn't just careless. It was selective, erasing technologies that could challenge the status quo or shift power balances. Now here's where the story takes a turn toward the terrifying. Following the clues carved into the device, researchers discovered links to none other than Archimedes, the genius inventor and mathematician of ancient Syracuse. Though Archimedes died long before the shipwreck, his legacy lived on through ideas embedded in the mechanism. The astronomical models inside match calculations he developed, and it's possible this device was built by his students or followers who preserved his hidden knowledge. This wasn't just a machine. It was the continuation of a secret tradition. The trail leads to Corinth and Epirus, regions known for skilled artisans and astronomers. Rhodes, a strategic island, emerges as a key player, home to Hipparchus, the astronomer whose lunar theories are reflected inside the device, and a crossroads between Greek and Roman worlds. The ship carrying the mechanism was bound for Rome, a city hungry for Greek culture, knowledge, and prestige. Owning such a device would have been a mark of supreme power and status. But the sea intervened, swallowing the cargo and silencing its message for millennia. And yet, the implications are staggering. If this machine represents a lost peak of knowledge, what else vanished with the fall of ancient civilizations? The Bronze Age collapse wiped out entire societies. The burning of the Library of Alexandria destroyed untold scrolls. And the fall of Rome plunged Europe into darkness for centuries. Each catastrophe erased generations of learning, knowledge that might have included technologies far beyond our imagination. What if history isn't a straight line of progress, but a cycle of rise and fall? What if brilliant civilizations with deep scientific understanding have come and gone, leaving only fragments like the Antikythera mechanism behind? The device hints at a much darker truth, that human knowledge might be cyclical, a spiral where we rise to incredible heights, only to lose it all again. And it's not just the Antikythera mechanism. Other mysterious artifacts like the Baghdad battery, the Lycurgus cup with its ancient nanostructures, and Damascus steel with its lost forging techniques all point to advanced technologies mysteriously lost over time. Could these be echoes of forgotten golden ages? If so, what does that mean for us today? Are we rediscovering lost knowledge or repeating mistakes made by those who came before? What if the secret knowledge embedded in these devices was so powerful it needed to be hidden, scattered, or destroyed to protect future generations? This device was buried beneath layers of history, preserved only by the unforgiving sea. Other machines like it could still be sleeping underground, hidden not by accident, but by design. What if those who understood the true power of these inventions buried them deliberately, fearing what might happen if they were ever uncovered? The Antikythera mechanism isn't just a relic. It's a warning, one that challenges everything we think about human history, knowledge, and progress. It asks us, what are we missing? What other secrets have been lost to time? What might happen if we find them all? The journey to answer these questions is just beginning, and it might change everything we thought we knew about ourselves. For more than a century, the corroded bronze fragments of the Antikythera mechanism lay forgotten in museum storage, silent and dusty, hiding secrets that would shake even the most skeptical scientists to their core. Can you imagine? What if the history books had missed the biggest discovery of the modern age because pieces were lost or concealed? Museum curators began to notice something strange. Official records showed only 3 main pieces, but advanced imaging scans revealed 82 fragments in total. Someone, somewhere, had hidden the true scale of this extraordinary device. What secrets did those missing parts hold? Could it be that entire chapters of ancient knowledge were kept from us? When researchers finally used CT scans to slice through layers of corrosion, they unveiled a breathtaking complexity no one expected. Gears inside the mechanism, some no bigger than a fingernail, were interlocked with flawless precision. Using reflectance transformation imaging, faint Greek letters etched into these tiny surfaces emerged, texts that no human eye could have read without powerful magnification. The accuracy of this mechanism defied belief. It wasn't just a tool, it was an ancient computer. And that's not all. Artificial intelligence was brought in to crack the thousands of characters carved into its gears and plates. The results sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The device referred to celestial events and eclipse predictions that only modern astronomy confirmed centuries later. Its precision rivaled today's best computers. But buried deep inside the bronze were microscopic symbols, coordinates marking locations across the Mediterranean where similar devices might be buried. Could the Antikythera mechanism be just one survivor of a vast, hidden network of ancient machines? What if countless others are still waiting beneath layers of earth and stone, untouched for millennia? Archaeologists began scanning the coordinates revealed by AI, using ground-penetrating radar to search beneath ancient ruins. What they found was chilling. Repeated patterns of buried metal artifacts, scattered across several countries, hinting at a civilization far more advanced than history tells us. Pieces of similar devices have since been unearthed in Syria, Egypt, and Sicily, each one more complex than the last. This paints a picture not of a single isolated invention, but of a lost civilization with profound knowledge of astronomy, metallurgy, engineering, and, perhaps most chilling, social engineering. Wait, social engineering? Yes. Buried within the mechanism's complex calendar system, AI decoded formulas designed not just to track celestial bodies, but to forecast human behavior. The creators were attempting to understand, and maybe even influence, societies through their understanding of the cosmos. This was far more than science. It was a powerful tool for shaping civilization itself. The implications are staggering. Could ancient rulers have used this technology to control populations, manipulate events, or wield power on an unprecedented scale? The most haunting discovery came from the AI's final analysis. Hidden deep within the device's plates was a dire warning from its creators, addressed to future generations. Their knowledge had become too dangerous. They confessed to scattering their machines across the world, burying them to prevent anyone from uncovering their full power. They feared what might happen if these secrets were unleashed, but that warning has now been broken. As excavations proceed, researchers face a chilling reality. Recovering these devices could unleash forces humanity isn't ready to handle. Other forgotten technologies could still lie underground, hidden not by chance but by intention. They were buried by people who understood the incredible risks of their inventions. What if we dig up more than artifacts? What if we awaken powers and knowledge that challenge everything we believe about science, history, and human nature? This terrifying possibility forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. How much have we lost over the centuries? How many civilizations rose to technological brilliance only to fall, taking their knowledge with them into the dust? And if history is cyclical rather than linear, are we doomed to repeat those cycles? The Antikythera Mechanism is more than a marvel of ancient engineering. It's a call to rethink everything. Inside that rusted box, ancient gears turned with knowledge so precise that they could predict planetary motions still debated by modern astronomers. The cycles it modeled are the same ones studied with powerful telescopes today. This wasn't primitive superstition. It was hard science that vanished, lost to time, war, and destruction. And maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the work of a lone genius, but of a vast, secret network of thinkers, traders, and craftsmen spanning continents and cultures. They shared ideas, secrets, and technologies far beyond what we ever imagined. Their network didn't leave many written records, but the Antikythera Mechanism speaks loudly, telling of shared goals, collaboration, and knowledge erased for over 1,000 years. What happened to that network? Why did their work disappear? Was it simply lost to time, or was it deliberately erased by those who feared its power? The shipwreck might have been caused by a storm, but storms don't explain everything. Someone was waiting to receive this device, someone who never got the chance, and afterward, no similar machines have ever been found. So what does this mean for us? Are we truly the first to master technology and science? Or are we standing on the shoulders of giants whose wisdom was buried beneath centuries of silence? The Antikythera Mechanism challenges our sense of progress and forces us to look deeper into history's shadows. Could there be other machines, other technologies, hidden across the world, waiting to be discovered? And if we find them, will we be ready for the truth they bring? The past is no longer just behind us. It might be beneath our feet, waiting to change everything. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to explore more mysteries like this. And hey, check out the next fascinating video popping up on your screen. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the other side.